Back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm going to mute you for a second, TJ. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to dive into week number 1 of the UFL 2026 season. We're going to talk about week number 2. If you like what we're doing here at Prime Sports World, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, no matter what platform you happen to be watching us on. What's up, Jacob? How you doing over there on the YouTube? But yeah, like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. I'm David. I'm playing up my co-host right there, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. Welcome to the Prime, brother. Welcome to the Happy Wednesday, my friend. What did you think of UFL week 1?
It's week 1. I mean, obviously glad it's back. Decent enough product. I thought the games that involved established teams would have been better, should have been better.
Yeah. I expected Birmingham to stomp.
And
on Louisville Knights. I Kings. I thought they were going to win that game fairly easily, and that game came down to kind of the wire. I thought the DC would play better, given the defending champions.
St. Louis clearly missing Hakeem Butler. You could tell. That's just where I'm at. But shout out to preseason hero Austin. I think it's Austin Reed. He was on the Bears preseason team. He was kind of became a fan favorite during the Bears season of Hard Knocks, and he just comes out and sets the UFL passing record in his first game as a starter. So, yeah, and he had a little moment there. Like I think so. Who did they play? Who did Arlington play?
They played the Houston Gamblers for the Battle of Texas.
And so it's a Gamblers player talking trash. He just makes a play. He's talking trash, and you hear Austin Reed on the sideline. You're down 22, bro.
We'll talk about all that. Let's first talk about the first game on the card as we get into it. Obviously, we had the team that lost in the finals last season. No, they didn't. They got lost in the semifinals. The Birmingham Stallions, with the new head coach, AJ McCarron, taking over for that franchise, going into Louisville. They're hosting their first home game, and they had over 10,000 fans in that stadium. So shout out to Louisville showing out to represent the team. Actually, attendance as a whole for UFL in week number 1, very positive. Stallions pull off the victory 15-13. They end up getting the game-winning touchdown with about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They missed the extra point to go up 15-13. Louisville unable to put anything together in the final 2 minutes of that drive. A mixed bag from Jason Bean. People really didn't know what you're going to see out of him. He hasn't really played football much in the last couple seasons after being drafted by the UFL. With 14 of 27, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Matt Corral was very good in this game. 21 of 30, 207 yards and a touchdown. That's 70% completion percentage you're kind of looking for when it comes to pro football. 59 yards and a touchdown for Snoop Connor in the run game. And Jaden Mickens, former NFL player, led this team in receiving yards with 102 yards. And Justin Ross had the lone receiving touchdown.
Also,
former NFL player, obviously. And John Ross is also on this team as well, former NFL player. Deion Kane, also former NFL player. Jordan Thomas, former NFL player. Elizabeth Chenault, former NFL player. On the other side, Jason Bean also led the Louisville Kings in rushing as they were just unable to really move the football on the ground. Really just kind of a lackluster performance on offense in general. And Lucky Jackson caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Louisville Kings as they come up short in their home debut in the league. But it's still a pretty good showing by their fan base and by this team going up against a juggernaut in this spring football era. in Birmingham.
In Louisville. They were in Louisville, right? Louisville.
Yeah. This game was in Louisville.
The one thing I will say is outside of uh, Arlington and Dallas, and that was one-sided. Defenses came to play. Like it was.
Yeah, I mean that Columbus Orlando Storm game, like that was a defensive struggle for majority of the game.
And you can argue that with this one too. Like it's.
But I also think it benefits by the fact that you can't punt once you get over the 50. So like there are a lot of empty possessions that end up in 4 and outs.
Yeah,
Tons,
like that was really something, and it's still gonna have to grow. They're still gonna have to grow on me. So
I didn't hate it, but I did notice that like it left a lot of like empty possessions where normally and then you get good field position, but nobody really capitalized on it. I don't know. I think it's just feeling it out phase in the offense. Like it's week one.
It's absolutely that. It's 100% something that you have to see it in person to see how it works exactly. And one, do not take the ratings for the UFL's first, I'm gonna say 3 weeks into into record. Like,
I would say at least until March.
Because that's all I was getting at. So I'm like, yeah. So like, the ratings for this week is probably bad because like, hey, it was the Elite Eight. Nobody was gonna really watch UFL football when this staple of American culture is on.
Yeah.
One's really gonna.
And then we got WrestleMania in a few weeks, so like it's gonna be
right. Like you're not gonna watch the UFL week 2 because the Final Four is this weekend. You're not gonna watch the UFL week 3 really because whatever day the national championship falls on, and maybe you get lucky. Maybe you don't play a game when the national, because that's just one day, right? That's just one day.
But actually, the UFL has already preemptively punted on that Monday. So they if we'll get to it when we get to it, but they don't have a game on Monday. They play on Friday. They have a night game on Friday. They have a game on 2 games on Saturday, or a game on Saturday. They have a game on Sunday, and then they have a game on Tuesday. But I do believe it's because the stadium that the Renegades play at was booked for something in previous, and that's why they had to move the game Tuesday. But yeah, they're not trying to go up against NCAA. Like they're just like, yeah, we're not doing it. Like
maybe it's the rodeo. Maybe they got.
It's Texas. It could be the rodeo.
It could be the rodeo. And I'm not saying that to be funny. Like I'm like that's a legitimate thing. So yeah, this game here, like again, they won. Birmingham won, but again, it's kind of like you said at the beginning. I was wholeheartedly anticipating Birmingham to come out and flex a little bit, and yeah, that really didn't happen.
Yeah,
and to an extent, like there were plays where it's like, okay, yeah, like let's do this, but then the Kings would have a defensive stance where they would do the same thing, and it's just like, oh, okay, like I see it, like yeah, like let's. Like if you're an old school football fan, you love this style of football. Like you love this smash mouth, low scoring, can't nobody get anything going type of football. Like this was your dream. This was your dream. And to David's point, I used to give David grief about this because at its inception, it's a new league. They're still working kinks out and all this other stuff. It's year 3 now. There's no reason why we should have to go to your stats, like the official UFL website, to get your stats. And even then, the layout is terrible. It's super hard to follow.
Yeah, the UFL stat page is not ideal. Like I'm trying to go to like the drive chart and just like look at stuff, and like it's just not good. Like
it's just not good.
And I wasn't even gonna bring that up because I'm just tired of complaining about it.
No, it's my turn now. It's
The
my
fact
turn now
that
because
the fact that
no, because again, I used to give you a password. I used to say like, "Come on, David, it's year one. Let them figure stuff out." I even did it a little bit last year. Like maybe they're still, Now it's like it's at the point where it's like, "Hey, ESPN, you have a deal with this league, right? We should be like you show their scores. There's a UFL section on the ESPN app. The most we can do is look up who's playing and what the score is. We can't look up any stats. You click on the game and nothing happens.
it crashes the site. Like,
It
it's like nothing available. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's
like
unacceptable. Like,
it's like how are you neglecting your own product? That's
like
like
it
that is
airs on like
awful.
half of the games air on your freaking network. Like, it's
That's awful. Like you how are you like and how are you seriously neglecting your own product? I don't get it. I'll never get it. And that's just that's just awful. It's just so bad. It's just
yeah.
so bad that we have to keep talking about this like for 3 years in a row now. Like the first year, again, I get it. This thing may work, it may not work. If it folds, there's no need for us to really pay attention to it. But it's not folding. It hasn't folded. It's in year three, and you're constantly talking about expansion and adding more teams and adding more cities and doing all this other stuff. If you're gonna do that, damn it, help your product out,
Yeah,
please.
14,000 fans in the building for this game in Louisville. So that's a pretty solid number for a
That's a
big city.
for a debut team for their like
Yeah,
first. That's very solid.
yeah, especially since they used to be the Memphis Showboats, which was not a good football team whatsoever. Um, Moving on from there, we had a rematch of the semifinals matchup, and it really didn't live up to expectations as the DC Defenders fall, defending champion DC Defenders, who had to go on the road. And they have to go on the road this week, too, in the first 2 weeks of their regular season after they won the title last year. I'm not salty about that at all. They fall to the St. Louis Battlehawks in the Mecca of UFL for the St. Louis Battlehawks. On there, so last season we saw a lot of very good Jordan Tiamu. This game, we saw the bad version of Jordan Tiamo. The guy we saw 2 years ago who couldn't get out his own way. We saw a lot of that guy in this game against the Battlehawks. 9 of 16, 123 yards and 2 interceptions. The complete percentage is not where you want it to be.
That's a lot.
Not great on the other side for Brandon Silvers. Yeah, they won and he didn't turn the football over, but still 16 to 28, 198 yards and a touchdown. This was more of a defensive struggle than anything else. Deion Jackson led the team in rushing for the DC Defenders, 17 to 57 and a tutty. Seth Williams, leading receiver for the DC Defenders, 3 for 51. Gary Jennings Jr., 1 for 64 on the Battlehawk side, and then Javon Howard, the running back that they picked in the draft, 11 for 45, 4.1 yards per clip. But neither of these teams really ran the ball super effectively in this game, and neither of these offenses moved the ball super effectively in this game either.
Got a bunch of people. Damn, why isn't Jordan Tiamo in the league? That's why.
Yeah.
You see it.
31,000 fans in the building for this game, though, in St. Louis. Goddamn.
Like, this is you could argue like this would be enough to put the NFL back in St. Louis.
I don't know about that, but
Like I'm not saying like again, I ain't say move. I'm not saying like put the Rams back in St. Louis. I'm sorry, I know like give them their own team, like because like as the NFL, like you can't sit there and look like 31,000 people went to this. 31,000 people.
Yeah.
And literally think about all the events I said that took place UFL week 1. Multiple Elite 8 games.
We
On
had the
both
first
sides.
in this game. Actually, we had the first 60-point field, 4-point field goal in this game out of Matt McCrane. 60 yards.
Went viral on Twitter and all that other good stuff. And it's just, again, that's one of those things where I was just like,
I like it. I mean, if it happens once a week, I have no problem with it.
Cause it gets to a point where it's like, and it happened in this game where like the new coach of the Blackhawks, like, yeah, I don't trust that. I'm not sending my, I'm not gonna keep constantly trying to kick
Yeah.
60 plus yard field goals. I'm like not
Yeah.
gonna keep doing that. Cause some of those, like a couple of his kicks, like he shanked them and they were bad. Like that was he had one miss, it was awful, and it wasn't 60 plus. Like it was a relatively
Yeah,
makeable kick.
Ricky Prohl is the head coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks, and then on the other side is Shannon Harris returning for the DC Defenders.
No, but
Actually, now that I look at it, he's the only coach that returned from last season to this season.
Shannon Harris.
Yeah, he's the only
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Technically Anthony Becht.
No, but
Obviously
like I'm
he's on
a
a new team, but
but he didn't return because he's not with the same team he's with.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Again, like this game really highlights a lot of areas where the NFL comes up short. The super challenge, like Jordan Tiamo throws an interception and pass interference is called, which negated the interception, and they looked at it like, where the hell's the interference? Like the ball was already intercepted when the quote unquote interference took place, and Ricky Pro super challenges it, and Mike Pereira comes in. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna overturn." He didn't even wait. And the best part about that, and it's been like that since year one on super challenges, it's broadcasted, so
yeah.
we hear it. The fans in the stadium hear it. Like they hear what's being said. They hear the thought processes, and
Well,
this is one of those elements where the
officiating is
NFL.
about to get super interesting because,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that, man, like
Yeah,
we may have the fail Mary. We'll see that too again back 10 years
have that
ago.
again. Like,
Yeah, like
and how ironic that it's literally coming up on like, has that been 10 years? That's been more than 10 years.
yeah, it's been over 10 years. It's got to be like, I mean,
That's at least 14. That's at least 14.
2012. So you're
That's
on
a,
it.
that's a,
24th. Happened in September 24th, 20. It's coming up on 14 years.
it's coming up on four. Yeah, how ironic that 14 years ago it took a Fail Mary for the NFL to be like, okay, we have to pay these refs.
Yeah,
We have to get this shit
yeah,
together.
yeah.
But for a minute there, I thought, hey, for a minute there, I legit thought DC was gonna go into St. Louis, shut down that crowd because St. Louis got off to such a bad start. Like they got. I think at one point I think it was 10-0, and then all of a sudden, no, it was.
It was 10-3 at one point in this game, and the opening drives for the Battlehawks was a punt, a field goal, a punt, missed field goal, and then they tacked on another field goal in the second quarter at the
To
horn.
go, yeah, because like they had a play where they got down to like the one, and they couldn't punch it in, and they're running read options, and the DC defenders they are crashing down on every one of them because they just like, yeah, I'm not trusting Brandon Silvers to pull that thing and run around us, and it reminded me of the Penn State Ohio State game. Was that this season or a year ago? Yeah, it was a year ago. Because what's his name? Penn State's quarterback he was healthy. Drew Aller.
Drew Aller.
Yeah. So in that game, they get down to like the Ohio State 1 yard line, and they literally just go read option to the running back 4 straight times. And Drew Aller, if he just keeps the ball one time, he walks in touchdown. It's a different ball game. This right here was literally that. Now, granted, St. Louis, you still won in the end, but if you would have lost this game, that drive right there before the half to end the half would have been like that's where the game was. Because all Brandon Silvers had to do, I swear to God, if he just does it one time, just pulls it out, right side of the fucking field is wide open. He skips into the end zone, touchdown St. Louis. So if you're Ricky Prohl and you're the quarterback's coach, you have to tell him, like, bruh, that's there. Like, your awareness has to be better than what it is. Like, that's there.
And Brandon Silvers has been in the spring football league. He's not a young quarterback. But yeah, moving on from there.
You can run a yard, bro. Like, come on. You ain't out there like Peyton Manning. You ain't out there like,
That's true. That's
or
true.
Tom Brady. You ain't out there old like that, bro. Like, you can get a yard, man. Come on. You can get a yard.
Moving on from there, we're swinging into Saturday football. We got the only beatdown on the clock on the docket here as the Battle of Texas goes resoundingly to the Dallas Renegades. And this is another one of those games where I was wrong about the starting quarterback. I was also wrong about another starting quarterback. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Luis Perez did not get the start for the Dallas Renegades, which I still find kind of surprising. But Austin Reed came out and absolutely balled out in this game and left no doubt who should be the starting quarterback of the Dallas Renegades moving forward. 26 of 40, 376 yards, and 3 touchdowns, a hat trick. Hunter Deckers got the start for the Houston Gamblers. I still don't know who this is. 19 and 29, 227 yards. Nolan Henderson played as well. He threw 2 bad interceptions early in this game, and they got pulled. Hunter Deckers got the lone receiving touchdown. I thought he caught a lone rushing touchdown, and I think he scored the only touchdown for the Houston Gamblers. But on the other side, Lorenzo Lagarde, 36 yards rushing for him. Tyler Vaughn, 7 of 4 and 44 and a touchdown. Greg Ward, former NFL player, also had a touchdown. And Ellis Merriweather also had a touchdown for the Dallas Renegades. This was a wire to wire. Got up early as Nolan Henderson threw a pick 6 in the first quarter. And that is all she wrote for this game.
Yeah. Who did you think was going to start for Dallas again?
Luis Perez, Mr. Spring Football. What do you mean? Who?
I think this is one of those where it's like, not we've seen enough, but it could be I don't know. Like maybe they do a QB by committee type thing.
No,
like maybe
I don't think so. I think this is going to be Austin Reed's job for the foreseeable future. And you have Luis Perez there as your backup because I think Austin Reed has some upside. As we mentioned, he was very popular in Chicago during his preseason run. And if Austin Reed doesn't work out, you always have Luis Perez in your back pocket. You can always that dude just is always ready to play.
And it's definitely one of those things where, again, you going into week 2, unless Austin Reed gets hurt in practice or whatever, you can't go back to Luis Perez. Like,
no, I mean, if you
the guy again,
he is arguably one of the most prolific passing days in the history of the UFL.
Not one of, he has the most. He's Austin Reed. He set the record. He set the pass.
I didn't know what the record was, but I didn't realize he set the record. I figured it was close.
No, he set the record. Most passing yards in the UFL game. He set that. That's him. That's his first start. That's him. You can't now. On the flip side, if you're Austin Reed, you can't go from 376 to 9 of 22 for 165 yards and a pick and 2 picks and a touchdown. You can't do that this week. You can't, because you have a very great opportunity to whatever conversations they having about Luis Perez and you and the starting quarterback job, that you have a big opportunity here to shut that door and be like, yeah, this is mine. This is mine. So, honestly, it's not really much to talk about with this game outside of what's already been said. Again, Gamblers player makes a big play, he talking shit, and then Austin Reed goes, you're down 22.
Just moving on from that game. We'll talk more about the each of those two teams as we
Hey,
get
bro,
into
I
next
dead
week.
ass think the score was 33-11. Like you're down 22. Like what are you doing?
From there, we had the battle of first-year teams in the UFL. One of them having a first-time head coach in Ted Kinn Jr. For the Columbus Aviators. And yeah, I was right on that one. And then going into Orlando and taking the Orlando Storm on, I was wrong about their starting quarterback. I don't remember who I said it was going to be, but I did not think it was going to be Jack Plummer, former Cal Bear. I want to say he's related to Jake Plummer, but that seems too convenient. And they never mentioned it once in the broadcast, so I'm sure it's not a thing. But he had a really good debut here for the UFL, 17-22, 240 yards and a touchdown, also 77% completion percentage. Played much better in the second half than he did in the first half. And he had what?
No, something about Plummer. Who? What was the name?
Jake Plummer.
No. The first name.
Jack Plummer is the starting quarterback for the Storm. And I know you hate when I say, I just assume people are related, but anyways, yeah, he threw a terrible pick six that got negated by a offsides penalty that could have absolutely changed this game entirely.
He is related to not John, but former Arizona quarterback Will Plummer. So,
all right.
Not the Plumber you were thinking of, but you know.
All right. Shout out to Will Plummer here at Prime Sports World. But yeah, Jack Plummer played well in this game. 17-22, 240 touchdown, 70. And then Jashawn Corbin, 50-66 and 2 touchdowns, both of them in the second half. As this was mostly a field goal battle in the first half. Elijah Badger, 4 for 127 yards, leading receiver for the Orlando Storm. And on the other side, this Columbus Aviators team just really had a hard time moving the football for the majority of the game. Jalen McClendon just kind of looked a little overmatched by the defense there for the Orlando Storm. Given that is coming from the Brahmas defense, that was very good. Every season they've been in the XFL/UFL, so it's not surprising that maybe they struggled just a little bit, but 21 of 32, 212 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Zaquandre White, leading rusher for this team, also scored the lone touchdown for this franchise as they make their debut in the league. And Tay Martin, 7 for 86 in the receiving game. Just kind of sloppy on offense for really both of these two teams, especially in the first half. Saw things get cleaned up a little bit for the Orlando Storm as they leaned heavily on their running game. 139 yards rushing in this game for this franchise with 2 touchdowns, 4.8 yards per clip. And on the other side, the Aviators did run the ball fairly effectively. 22 carries for 120 yards, a touchdown, and 5.5 yards per clip. But just too much Storm here for the Aviators to overcome.
Yeah, like they ended the game with a sack. Last play of the game, Aviators need a first down to keep going. They needed a first down to keep going, and Anthony Beck's crew said no. The one thing I love about Anthony Beck is like, dude, I will run through a brick wall for you. Never change. He's just so energetic. Anthony Beck is, and you have to ask, was accepting this job like a challenge for him? Because like he easily could have stayed in St. Louis and like let's say like, hey, let's run this back. We're right there, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
The league decides to expand and add a new team, and they're like, I don't know why St. Louis decided to move on from him. Like that's neither here nor there. It's over with. It's done now. But like for him to be like, he's actually one of those few. Like he's actually one of the few coaches I would like. I wonder what you could do at the next level.
He basically proved it. I mean, that he can absolutely be an NFL head coach, and he's proven that he's a good football coach. Like he absolutely gets his guys like the victory speech. If you've seen the video on YouTube, it's pretty awesome.
I would definitely like bring him in on some like OC type interviews, like just to pick his brain, just to see where he's at, and go from there. But this is again, like this was
So
this is a win for. Go ahead, go ahead.
Anthony Beck is from Florida. So
Okay.
he took this
Oh,
job
so he
to
wanted
be,
to go home.
yeah. So basically took this job to be closer to his home in Florida, instead of having to be in
In
St.
St.
Louis.
Louis.
So,
Oh yeah, ain't no wrong with that. Shit, I always go home. I mean,
yeah.
I would never fault somebody for wanting to go home.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, this was a pretty entertaining game. It was kind of like a defensive slobber knocker. If you like that kind of football, you would have loved Aviators Storm. And shout out to Anthony Beck, get the first victory for the Orlando Storm. I think this is as many wins as the Brahmas had all of last season. So you're doing something right there over there in the UFL in Orlando. Sorry, Brahmas. It's what it is. But yeah, let's move on. Let's get some game balls out. TJ, who do you got in your game ball?
Come on, Austin Reed. It's not even close.
I knew you were going to say that, so I'll give mine to Jack Plummer. Completion percentage, what you're looking for in the UFL, 77%, 17 to 22, 240 yards and a touchdown. They're going to get my game ball there for Jack Plummer. Austin Reed, obviously, gets a virtuoso performance, as he likes to say, in his debut in the UFL. Something I just wanted to sort of ask you about. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the segments during games where they're talking to the backup quarterback and they're kind of like going through the play calls? How do you find those entertaining?
I don't want to sound quote unquote elitist when
just
I say this.
Just say it. I don't enjoy them. I think I would prefer if they were either used less or not at all.
Why are we talking to the backup?
I mean, because obviously the backup knows all the play calls. So like you basically have them headset up. We get to hear all the play calls as it is, and so they're just telling you what the play is going to be. So it gives you some insider knowledge. I just don't find it entertaining.
And I get that, but again, this is one of those gimmicky aspects. I don't mind what you call it, like player like sideline interviews, because like they did this last year, right? Player scores a touchdown. Hey, what'd you say? My only complaint with it last year was, damn, let the dude who just scored the touchdown catch his breath, like, because you had dudes sucking air trying to talk, and it's like I'm trying to focus on breathing right now, and you just asked me what I saw on this particular play that led to a touchdown. So like the elitist in me is like, why are you talking to the backup quarterback? Like what do you get out of that? I understand like the hesitation of talking to some coaches. Not every coach out there is quote unquote an asshole with this with the sideline interview things. Sideline reporters have a job to do, and nothing irks me more than a coach being short or dismissive of someone trying to do their job. Coaches are doing their job, but yes, so was that sideline reporter who, damn, at least make it easier for them to do their job. Like they're talking to you for a minute and a half, if that. They ask one question, just answer it. No, I feel like there's maybe better people to talk to in that situation.
I tend to agree with you. I just don't find those segments to be super entertaining. Like I just feel like they're dry. Like it's too much like dead air. Like most of the like I would prefer if they did something different production wise. But I mean, they must have done some tests on it that people enjoy it because they keep doing it. But like because like during the Storm during the Storm Aviators game, like they had a back-to-back sequence where they talked to DTR, who I did get that wrong. I thought DTR was going to be starting quarterback for the Storm, or yeah, he was not. And then they go. I think it was like, and then the Columbus Aviators. It was either one way or the other. Like they had the Aviators had the football, and like they talked to the backup quarterback during that entire possession, and then Orlando Storm got the football after that, and they talked to DTR for that entire drive, and I didn't think it was entertaining. Like I just didn't enjoy it. Like it was like a lot of dead air. It was like a lot of just like awkwardness is what I want to call it. I guess from a TV production side.
No, I get that too. Like there, as a TV professional here, one of the worst things you can have is dead air. Like it's just don't do that.
But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to ask you that and if you're down in the comment section, let us know what you think about those backup quarterback segments because I could lose those for sure. Let's move into week number 2, TJ, as we got our predictions. I got to pull up my little thing so I can make sure I write this shit down. I don't think I did great last week, by the way, TJ.
Yeah, do you mind writing mine down too? Like
I can do that. I don't remember what you picked last week, so
I didn't either. That's why I asked. I'm like, I'm gonna ask David to keep track of this stuff for me real quick.
So I picked the Aviators, the Renegades, DC, and Birmingham. So I went for 2 for 2 last week. Let's first start with Friday night football or Friday afternoon football, depending on where you are. This game can be found on your Fox affiliate. It is the defending champion DC Defenders, who still aren't at home into week number 2 of the UFL after being the champion last season.
That first cup snake in DC is going to be legendary.
Yeah, for sure. Going into Nationwide Arena and taking on the Columbus Aviators. TJ, Vendors, Aviators, both these teams need to get off the schneid. One of these teams is going to get a victory, probably.
Definitely going Defenders. You played St. Louis, who you're anticipating will be one of the teams there at the end of this thing, come week 9, week 10. And if you're St. Louis, if you're DC, you can argue like, hey, this one got away, and that's kind of been, outside of last year, it's kind of been the theme with some clutch DC games. Like, hey, this one got away from us. We had it, we lost it. I expect that this is definitely one. Hey, I'm kind of expecting some will to be imposed on this one. Like I could be wrong. I'm welcome to be wrong.
I do think those Columbus fans are going to show up. I would be shocked if there's not at least 10,000 fans in this building during this game for their first game in Nationwide.
Here's hoping. Here's hoping. I would love that too.
Also, I forgot to mention this. So Dallas, during their game at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas, they had
put the numbers up.
Yeah, 8,800 fans in that game, and then Orlando in their very first game at Interco Stadium had over 11,000 fans in that game. Both those teams as brand new franchises. The fact that they showed up, 11,000 people showed up for that game, pretty. And DJ Khaled actually performed at halftime during Orlando, and congratulations to DJ Khaled, just voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today, along with Taylor Swift and some other people that we'll talk about never.
Never.
So, yeah, he's not on this channel, on this show. But yeah, from there we're gonna swing. I'm taking the Defenders too. I think they'll get back on this. I think they'll bounce back. I think Jordan Tiama will bounce back as well. But I do think there's a scenario where we have Columbus just really, especially if these fans show up and like all of a sudden they have like the fans report and they have the fan backing and like people are. Jalen McClendon kind of remembers how to play football after pretty disappointing debut because he was really good last season down the stretch for the Roughnecks. I feel like they were just like not letting him play his style of football for a majority of the game. Like just let that guy play. Like he's good. Anyways, from there Saturday, going over to the worldwide leader in sports. I think they're still called that at least. ESPN. As we got 2 brand new franchises going head to head. This game is at 5:00. We got the Kings and the Storm. Kings coming off a tough loss to Birmingham. The Storm getting the victory on their opening weekend. Host another game. Louisville, Storm. TJ, I'm going with the Storm. I like what I saw out of that offense, and I like what I saw out of that defense.
I, too, am going with the Storm. So right now, I'm going Defenders and Storm so far for my picks for week 2.
And then into Sunday, this is going to be on NFL Network. 3 p.m. is the kickoff for this particular game. We got the Birmingham Stallions coming off escaping the Louisville Kings in Louisville, going into Houston and taking on the Gamblers, who got blown out last weekend by the Dallas Renegades. They look to pick up their wounds and kind of regroup here after a pretty poor performance on both sides of the football in week number 1. Not a recipe for success is a team that's dominated spring football, the Birmingham Stallions and AJ McCarron.
Chris Jericho saying came back to AEW. Nice.
Man, I was gonna break the news with that at the end of the show, man. I can't. So funny story about that, real quick. So I'm in a couple wrestling group chats, and somebody posted like a Chris Jericho thing in that group chat, and I'm like, look at the date. And then I realized that AEW is literally on TV right now, and I looked stupid as hell, and I'm like, oh my God, he's actually like that actually happened. Like, leave it to AEW to wait till April Fools to like bring back Chris Jericho, and everybody's like, oh, that's not real. Like, the guy was like, I'm watching it on my freaking TV right now, like it's real. Like, damn. But yeah, so there goes all of the rumors that Chris Jericho was going to return at the Royal Rumble. He was going to return at the Elimination Chamber. He was going to return in Saturday Night Main Event. Like,
what did I say? He is not coming back. Like, Lead Champion is never coming back to WWE. Stallions, Gamblers.
Actually, I just we made a list. You just made the list reference at work today, and nobody got it. I was like, oh, that's sad.
Stallions, Gamblers. Give me Birmingham.
I'm taking Birmingham too. I sweep it. I didn't see anything out of the Houston Gamblers. Made me think that, like, yeah, this team's ready to take on one of the best teams in the UFL. And then the final game. This game is on Tuesday night afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. We have the 1-0 Battlehawks going up against the 1-0 Renegades. Both these teams coming off. Renegades are coming off extremely strong performance, and the Battlehawks kind of just escaped against the DC Defenders. This game is in Dallas at, I guess, Frisco Stadium, wherever Frisco is in Texas. I'm assuming it's close somewhere near Dallas. This game is on Tuesday night. You can find this on FS1. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're where TJ is, that's 7 o'clock. With that being said, I think the Renegades just played a very bad Gamblers team. I mean, their offense is going to be excellent this season, but I have questions about their defense still, as I've had the last couple seasons. Give me the Battlehawks. I think Brandon Silvers gets in a little bit of rhythm in this game, so give me the Hawks. TJ.
I'm going with the Renegades. I want to see if Austin Reed does it again.
Renegades. All right. So I got me and you both on DC, me and you both on the Storm, me and you both on the Stallions, and then me and you are split on the Battlehawks and the Renegades. We'll see who gets more right. I'm currently 2-2, and we'll just throw out week 1 because we don't have your predictions, unless I go back and watch it and just look it up. I could do that, actually. I might do that because I'm pretty sure your predictions were very similar to mine from last week.
Like, give or take a pick or two.
Like, you may have taken the Storm over the Aviators, but I'm sure you went Renegades, DC, Birmingham.
I think so too.
Yeah, so I'll look it up. I'll get into the numbers, and we'll keep it going for the whole season. And if you guys have any predictions for what you think is going to happen week number 2, also drop those down in the comment section as we try to be the number 1 hub for all things UFL. This was our week 1 recap, our week 2 preview, and we are Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you like what we're doing here at the Prime, as we're going to talk the WWE tomorrow, and things have gotten interesting in the Federation for sure, especially with what happened on Monday at the Mecca. And I guess we're going to talk a little bit about Chris Jericho as well, because I was sure he was coming back to the WWE, and I think
I
thought
just bet you were.
I'm so sure it was going to happen because all of the conversation about him returning, like when there's smoke, there's usually fire, and like this is one of those times where everybody got burnt. Like everybody predicted that he was coming back, and the only person that knew that he wasn't coming back was TJ. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us, TJ. What we do here at the Prime, my friend.
Bring the heat, and it would be nice if it could stay, for more than a day before, dropping.
It is a chilly 58 degrees here in San Francisco, California.
Yeah, that is that is pretty cold for.
Yeah, it was like 90 degrees like every day last week. now we're in the 50s. I'm almost breaking out my winter coat. We'll be back here tomorrow. See you guys all then. TJ, have a great night, brother.
Too, man.
Peace.